Chapter 41. Ellie.
So, did you bid on anything?
Jenna asks when we walk towards Dirty on Sunday morning. I shake my head. George said we could bid on anything we wanted, but it didn't feel right. How was the food? Did anything interesting happen? I steel myself. Dylan was there. And Julian and his sisters. I see her face pale. Oh. Well, I guess that's not surprising. She wrings her hands. Was he with someone? No, he wasn't. He was there with Mia. There's relief on her face, and I can tell it's still hard for her to talk about him.
And what was it like seeing Dylan?
Did you speak to him? I did. We even danced. The words leave my mouth before I can think. Danced? But Ellie, you don't dance. I've seen you try to waltz, and I felt so sorry for the old man that asked you. Well, the truth is, I've been taking lessons. You have? Why didn't you tell me? I could have gone with you. I know, but I wanted to do this on my own. She puts a hand on my arm. Back up. You danced with Dylan? After all that happened. Wasn't that awkward?
Not really.
I'm sure he was just being polite though. Or maybe he wanted to get away from Mia. Was she as clingy as she always is? I raise an eyebrow. Jenna calling someone clingy is a rare insult. But before I can answer, she opens the door to Dirty and freezes. I make a loud noise as I walk into her back and stumble. What's wrong? I peer over her shoulder. Straight ahead is Julian. He's sitting with Noah, Knightley and Dee. They haven't noticed us yet. We can go somewhere else, I whisper and pull at her arm. No. She straightens her back. We have to learn to coexist. I'm sure it'll be fine. I hold on to her arm as we walk inside and head for the counter. She keeps her gaze on the menu as we wait, even though we've both had it memorized for about a year. I'm not as strong. I glance back at them. Julian is staring at Jenna's back with a wistful look. Knightley says something funny and they all laugh. Except Julian. When Dee notices, he looks over to see what's caught his attention. My breath is sucked out of me as our eyes meet and I blush. Embarrassed by my reaction, I turn to the counter and try to think of something to order.
Anything. Yogurt.
Toppings, the barista asks in a bored voice. Berries. I can feel the heat of his eyes on my back. We say nothing as we wait. And I wonder if Jenna is regretting her decision to stay. When we get our order, we pick a small table as far away from the others as possible. We've barely sat down when Julian and Dee come up to us. Jenna, Julian says.
It's good to see you.
You too, she says and stares at her coffee. Oh, and you, Ellie. He shifts from one foot to the other. Julian, I say and sip the coffee that I apparently ordered as well. Dee is standing a step behind him, as if he wants to separate himself from us. I need to apologize to you, Julian says. I'm miserable without you. I make the mistake of looking up at Dee. He's staring at the table with a strange look on his face. As if he doesn't want to be there. It cuts deep, and I inhale a shaky breath as I turn my attention to the bowl in front of me. I don't want you to be miserable, Jenna says, and I know she means it. I glance over at Noah and Knightley. They're paying close attention to our table. Could we talk? Over coffee sometime? Or dinner? She looks up at me. I nod. I haven't explained the situation to her yet, but perhaps I should. What Dee did was horrible and short-sighted. But I have a feeling Jenna will understand and forgive him. And I need her to forgive him. It's not until the panic climbs up in my chest that I realize how much I need Jenna to forgive Dee. I think so, Jenna says hesitantly.
Maybe you could call me later today?
Yes. Julian almost trips over the word, and a smile spreads across his face.
Yes, I will call you later today.
I glance at Dee again. He's staring at the wall now, and I know what that means. He's making up for his mistake with Jenna. Not with me. When we danced, I thought for a moment, for one magical night, that maybe he still felt something for me. But if the way he refuses to look at me is anything to go by, the Valentine's ball was a mistake, and he's now come to his senses. I'm so glad we ran into you, Julian says and starts backing up.
We have to go.
He waves awkwardly and grabs Dee's arm as he hurries out of Dirty. Noah and Knightley follow him.
What do you think he wants?
Jenna asks. She's trying to seem calm, but I can tell she's a wreck. I've been debating whether or not to tell you something, I say.
Oh.
I was never going to keep it from you forever, and maybe I should have told you sooner. But I was afraid that it would hurt you even more. So I chose the easy way out and kept quiet. About what? I take a deep breath. The reason Julian broke up with you.
What do you mean?
I grab a spoon and poke at a raspberry in my yogurt. Please know that I only want what's best for you, and if I thought it would have made a difference earlier, I would have told you. Ellie, I know you love me and would never want to hurt me. Please just tell me.
Okay.
I nod and swallow. The reason Julian broke up with you is because of something Dylan said. But he was wrong, and he knows that now. Jenna is staring at me. Her cheeks pale.
What did he say?
Remember on your birthday, when Lydia toasted you, and she said something about you marrying someone with money?
Yes.
Well, Dylan thought that meant you were a gold digger. A what?
I know.
It's ridiculous. How could he think that? I've never asked Julian for anything. You know I wouldn't.
I know.
But Dylan didn't. He just saw how shy you are and thought that meant you didn't really like him. Jenna's cheeks turn bright red. I suppose I could work on that. I reach over and place my hand on hers. No. You're perfect the way you are. This one is on Dylan. He made assumptions about you and the way you behave. Jenna pulls away her hand and takes a few deep breaths. When did you find out? At Christmas. And I wanted to tell you, but you were still heartbroken. I see. But you know what this means, right?
What's that?
There are tears in her eyes when she looks up. It means that the only stupid thing Julian did was listen to his best friend. And you have to cut him some slack for that. The statement takes root, and she slowly begins to smile.
So, it was all a mistake.
Just like in one of your rom-coms, I say with a grin.
And don't worry.
I yelled at Dylan quite a bit when I found out what he did. And I immediately ended things with him. She blinks and looks me over. But you still love him. I try to smile as I shrug.
It doesn't matter.
I think we were doomed from the start. He barely looked at me today.
Oh, Ellie.
I'm just glad you get a second chance with Julian. I spoke to him at the ball. You did? He wanted to know if you were mad at him, and if he still had a chance with you.
And what did you say?
I told him I'd talk to you. If it hadn't been for Lydia, I would have done it much sooner. How is she? Acting as if nothing happened. I run my hand over my face. I don't know what to do. She's still so sad and angry about the accident. I was really hoping she would get better with time. She still could.
Maybe.
I'm just glad she didn't get a record or go to prison or something.
Me too.
And I didn't even thank the man that took care of the situation. I should have thanked him. It's the least I could do. But he wouldn't even look at me. He didn't say anything. He probably wants nothing to do with me anymore. I sigh and dig into my yogurt. At least Jenna's love life is looking up.